Hanacue is known for her character's wild and complicated hair, beautifully rendered eyes, and just the overall beauty of her illustrations. Her art style looks super complicated when you look at it, right? And that's why I've spent hours upon hours of time trying to break down exactly what Hana does to achieve this look, and how you can too. I'll also be going in depth on the amazing eyes she draws, so stay tuned for that. I've taken the time to break down this video into different sections, so here are the timestamps for each if you want to skip ahead. And now let's take a closer look at how Hana draws the shape of the head and body. Looking at these illustrations, we can see that she draws the head very angular and thin, and it gets thinner the closer it is to the chin. The chin itself is slightly more pointed than the average semi-realistic chin style. We can also see that the necks are a little on the thicker side, like slightly thicker than the average anime style. And for the ears, it can be simplified as this shape here. The small bits that are shaded darker than the rest of the inside of the ear are also shaped like this, with a longer and bigger shape and then a smaller rounder one higher up from that. And now that we've looked at that, it's time to focus on how Hana draws eyes. For this one, I painted an eye in Hana's style. It wasn't using her own process, I was just trying to get a feel for where the shadows and colors would be in her style. So starting with the top part of the eye, you can see that the lashes are made to look more fluffy by making the layer of the eyeliner beneath it lighter. Hana also draws 1 or 2 eyelashes upside down here. And then to blend it more into the skin, trace over the top, accepting the eyelashes with a reddish-brown color. Next, line the edges of the eyelashes with a bright yellow highlight. And the underside of the eyeliner is purplish on the edge as well. Then define the separation from the eyelashes more by going over the space in between the eyelashes with the brown color. Then with a grayish-purple, small streaks mimic the flow of the lashes. And the lower lash part is usually a good deal lighter and more saturated than the top part. It blends a little to the very end as well. The lower lashes are shorter to the ends and longer in the middle. The inner part of the lower lashes is traced with the same light yellow color used to highlight the top lashes. Also define the space and depth of the lower lashes with the dark brown. Now, back to the top part of the eye. Beneath the purple, line the outermost edge with a peach-orange color. Then with a reddish-orange-brown color, trace over the left end of the top lash. And to blend it in with the skin even more, pick a darker and more brownish version of the skin color and trace on top of the eye. The eye whites are filled in with just a less saturated and slightly lighter version of the skin color. Next, I drew in the shadows from the eyelashes. I would use a pinkish color to do this. And then, there are eyelash-shaped highlights in between each bottom eyelash, except for the one on the right end. The eye itself is filled in softly. There's also an outlined circle in the center that's a version of the eye base color that's close to black. Then there are 2 highlights above and under that circle. The top one is bigger and the bottom is smaller. Then an oval sits at the bottom at a light version of the base color. Also outline the eye color with a dark purple. Make it a little thicker on the edges as well. The upper lashes are reflected in the eyes, or at least that's what I think is going on here. Then accent the eyes with a bright neon color. For the eye I was studying, that color was a bright blue. That means a little streaks on the edges and some dots here and there. Next, do the same with another color. For this eye, pink was used. Now zigzag lines are done on both sides of the eye from the lash reflections to the oval at the bottom. And the top part of the eye is darker than the base color as well. Then just a few more eye highlights, one of them at the upper part with rays stretching out of it. And the highlights I just spoke of are outlined with one of the accent colors. You can also add just a few other minor details that I find hard to describe, but hopefully you'll be able to copy it based on the screenshot. Now the next part is the hair. I've done a quick paint study of it in one of Hana's illustrations, and here are my observations. She uses several gradients to define the depth of the hair, including making the strands farther away a light blue color. There seem to be a few groups of the hair that have been colored accordingly. For instance, there's a section that's furthest away from the viewer that is the lightest blue color. Then there's other sections in between that fade slowly into the character's actual hair color. She also uses zigzag patterns across some strands of hair. I'm not sure how Hana did it, but I managed to achieve this look using multiply and add layers, and lowering the opacity of those layers slightly. And I know I didn't talk too much about Hanacue's actual illustration process very much, but for that, I just recommend watching her videos a couple times. Now that you've watched a video on Hanacue's style, you might be wondering how you can take what you've just learned and apply it to your own art style. If you want to know how to do that, click this video at the top right here.